part of why I wanted to start recording this stuff is I've made excuses too long, like for too long. I've made excuses of why I can't do things, why our house looks the way it does, why the front garden is the way it is, why the pond isn't, it's not a pond, there's just like a floodplain in our front yard, but it could be better. Like, I need to dig a hole, I need to put a culvert, I need to make it drain where I want it to drain. There's trees all over the front, cedar trees. There's a bunch of trees behind me right now that they all are dead. Tons of trimming can get done. Earlier about getting a tractor and getting a farm truck and all those things. You don't need, here to prove to myself we don't need all that stuff to do what we just did. We just took all those trees up out of the way with a Home Depot chainsaw that at one point we ran over with the Jeep. I don't know when or how or what. We weren't even near the saw. I don't even know. But this got all bent and crushed, and there's no more safety lever. And now the throttle, I was able to put it all back together. This is my point. Is what I'm getting at. Even though the safety's not here, duct tape the handle so it doesn't cut me. And see, this is all crushed and mashed. But got the throttle linkage all put back together. It's even broken up in here, but it freaking works. It did it, right? It did it. I did buy this one. This one I purchased. But before this, I had a free one. Same thing with the strap. 20-year-old strap. Didn't have a chain big enough, you know? I can't go do that job. I don't have heavy-duty enough equipment. Was it a little risky? Yes. Did we do it and survive? Also, yes. I was going to show you this earlier, before it was so messed up, actually. But choke 5,000 and basket 12,500, I think it was. 6,200 in a sling. So we were choked. We had 5,000 pounds to use. That tree, I don't know. I'm not an arborist. I'm not taking down a bunch of trees. It is a lot more clear out there than it used to be, but I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the whole point. I can make up excuses for years of why I can't go get it done, but it still needs to be done, and just need to figure out how to do it. So we did. We got some scratches on the truck. I'm sure we got some scratches on the Jeep, and but the job's done. We survived, and it's done. We can say it's done. I say done. We have to go back tomorrow and trim the last piece, but that I know we can do. That I could probably do with a handsaw to make the road passable, but I'd like to make it better than that. So quit making up excuses. Quit telling yourself you can't. Just go start doing it. We were resting inside, not thinking about doing anything, and I don't know, just decided let's go clean up that mess. We saw that mess, you know, a week ago or so down on the property, and we could drive around it. We could have drove around it for the next 20 years, but let's go make it better. So we went down there and we got it done with the tools that we had. Didn't cost us anything except a little bit of fuel, which, anyways, didn't cost us anything. We'll leave it at that. And we got it done. Oh, look at that monster. Better not hang out there too long, buddy. Chickens are gonna come get you. Wanted to make sure we got a lot of distance from this thing. Heck yeah. Okay. Sweet. Back up. Back up. It's in quite the precarious position, but I bet we could hook up to it just one spot and pull it out. All right, we're just down to the one strap like we were doing yesterday. Man, I have got to get a different camera if we're gonna keep doing this. Just filming with my iPhone that I use every day is a little nerve-wracking. I really don't want to drop it, because then I won't have a phone at all. But I want to get this footage, so here we go. All right, see if you could just pull it out, and then we'll figure out the turning around situation. Actually, wait, stop. Turn all the way to the right and back up. Let's just flip it right here like we did yesterday. Okay. We're gonna hit that tree again pretty bad, but let's see. Oh yeah. Much better. Take it to the top. I'll stay down here and get eaten by mosquitoes. Here's the after. So that's where all that stuff was blocking, all right there. Now the road is wide open. Wait for a good rain to come through and the water to get up here and flush all this stuff out of here. This is what's left. Now that tree fell over, smacked that tree, and both of them were laying across the road. They're there for a minute, big old dead spot from them, but they're gone now. We can drive through here no problem. It is a bright and beautiful Saturday morning. We've got coffee, we've got water, we've got hungry animals. Let's start there, and then we're gonna do some mowing. Got a lot. We'll be out of town next weekend. So we got, almost had no coffee. That's what we almost got. To get all this mowed down. That way, next weekend while we're gone, obviously I can't mow then, so we gotta mow this weekend. It's not the tallest ever, but also where all the water is, where the water settles, I haven't mowed there because it was still water, and now it's not. So now I can mow all that as well. Try and scalp down the goat pen a little bit. They don't eat any of that anyways. They always want to be out grazing out in the front pasture. So scalp that down so it's nice and clean and I don't have to get in there again with the mower, mow the rest of the yard. But let's start with feeding these birds. And goats. Everybody's here. Guineas, ducks, goats, chickens. So this is where I've been keeping their feed. These are watertight watertight Husky totes, just from Home Depot. Nothing fancy, just it's watertight, so that makes it a lot easier to not spoil feed. Just got a feed scoop. We have 3 because that was goat feed, scratch, and chicken feed. But I have since just gone to protein scratch only. 2 scoops a day. We've done the trash can thing. Just talking about the totes. Squirrels, chipmunks, squirrels. They ate through the lids and part of the trash cans. So that didn't work. But I feed 2 scoops. I think those are 3-pound scoops of scratch because we got all this luscious grass out here. And all this pasture is full of bugs. Lots of them. So why buy feed when everybody can head out there and find everything they need? And they do. The ducks were actually across the road on their way down to the river. So they travel, they get around, and they find all the food they need out here. Just like to give them, that's a protein scratch. And starting their day off with a healthy little meal. I guess it's a XT1 Enduro Series LT50. I don't know. But she's got the welded deck. The welded deck down here. So not a stamped deck like that yellow one over there. You can see it's all curved. This came off our first mower. It's all rounded and stamped. This is one piece of sheet steel that's just that thick. And they just squeeze it into this form, put the couple extra brackets on it, get this Cub Cadet, and that was 2 blades, 48-inch. So this is 50-inch and 3 mower blades underneath there. And this one's all welded. There's a seam there. It's all pieces of thicker gauge steel that they welded together to make a stronger deck. Picked this up not even a year ago. So this is what we started with. Purchased this one for $250, not running. It turned over, but it didn't run. I think I talked him down to 200. Regardless, this was many years ago, and it has just been slowly dying more and more. Got it running. Found out it wouldn't move under its own power, or like it wouldn't move. Belt was spinning the rear differential, but it wouldn't move. Did some research, found out I needed to tear the rear differential apart. So I took it out of there. It was actually a rainy day. I bet I could find some pictures. Took the transmission into the kitchen table and tore it down right there in the kitchen. Found out that someone had already been in there, tore it down, and put it back together incorrectly. Luckily, nothing was damaged. I was able to just put the parts back in correctly, and it started driving after that. Bogged it through the mud and kind of started, like, that was the beginning of the end, I think. Bogged it through the mud a little bit, playing with the kids. They were on their 4-wheelers, so I was just out there messing around with them. And we got a bunch of mud and dirt on top of the deck, and it wrecked all the bearings for all the pulleys that keep the blades spinning. It was fine. It just made noise after that. It wasn't a big deal. I knew I needed to replace them, but I wasn't going to worry about it. Still rocking the original belts and all that. Hadn't done anything to it except rebuilt the rear end. Then one day it had a horrible backfire and blew the muffler apart, actually. So I had to replace the muffler. Did, little things. Spark plugs and... what am I trying to think of? Spark plugs, air filter, oil changes. Little things. I had a 5-gallon gas can that I ran some can't think of the brand name. I believe it was Yamalube. And it actually, I had mixed it too strong for this. I didn't mention this is a 2006. So this 15-year-old mower's rubber hose. So got this custom hose out here running all around, and we're on top of the deck. I knew that was the beginning of the end, so we just did that custom job there. Got another mower, a Turo, for free. Guy was moving, and I loaded up, man, everything that he was gonna throw away. Got like a big old TV I gave to a coworker, a whole bunch of stuff that some of it we still use. Actually, the rope we were using yesterday to pull the tree down, not the strap, but the rope, that was from that pickup. Just picked up a ton of stuff. So we robbed some parts off of that, put these wheels and tires on here, because I had already bought a replacement for a front, and then it started leaking again too. So these Turo tires, that one's obviously starting to run down a little bit, but they were working pretty good. Tires off the Turo. So we got the external fuel line. It was working fine. I still have a fuel filter and all that on there. I guess in the very beginning, when I rebuilt the rear end, I also rebuilt the carb. Before I did the external fuel line, the carb got gunked up, and I think that's why I was running like the powerful mix of the cleaner. Like, it would run, but it wasn't running great. But at wide open, it was running. So in an effort to not have to rebuild the carb again, I ran the extra strong Yamalube mix through it, and it wrecked the hose. The hose collapsed on itself, basically. Like, all the rubber just like swelled up shut, and then it didn't help the carb, didn't clean it out, which I knew it wouldn't. I really did, but I tried anyways. So rebuilt actually this time, again, this is the beginning of the end. I knew it was coming to a halt. I just bought like I think they're $20 Amazon carburetor instead of rebuilding the original Cooney, and slapped that on there. Ran it for a year. It went bad. Bought another one, $40 in, still not as much as it cost for the rebuild kit for the Cooney, for the original. Second carburetor, running it. That's when I found that the HOA around here was selling it because it would not, she told me it needed a belt. So I found this one, bought that. We'll circle back in a sec. Logan pulled the deck off this and started running it everywhere, like, using it like a little tractor and playing with it. And I forget how we figured it out, but it's only running on one cylinder. And other than that aggressive backfire that caused the muffler to like separate, destroy itself, it never had power. It never could like climb a hill. It couldn't mow fast at all. It was a very slow process. I think it always had one cylinder down. And I had messed with all that. I pulled the valve covers off, and the valves are moving and all that. Especially after the backfire, I remember being like, something's not right. But never, this was the first riding mower I ever had, never noticed that it was actually only running on one cylinder. So I don't know if it's a come and go issue or if the issue started with the backfire. Now there's a hole in one of the pistons or something. But it still runs. It's hard to start when it's cold. But when it's not cold, it fires itself up and it drives around. Now, so that's where this one ends. Logan still plays with it, drives it around. We did a little custom battery work. All the cable started melting off. Here's the old fuel line just laying here. It's It's a running, driving little lawn tractor. Guess I shouldn't complain. This picked up, wouldn't start, battery was dead. Still is, still weak, real weak. We'll find out if it starts right now. And picked it up from the HOA for $300 this time. Found out it's a 2019. It's like brand new. Still had the original blades on it. Everything's original from what I can tell. And it was undercover, so it looks pretty decent. Just some, damage on the seat there. Can't tell if you guys can't see or if I just can't see because of the reflection and glare. Got it home. The story was that it wouldn't, it needs a new drive belt, is what she said. It needs a new drive belt. Okay, now I feel like I need to remember. I dropped the deck out from underneath it. I think I dropped the deck out from underneath it. That's what it was. Put the belt back on, the belt that it had. So the belt was off the front pulley, the crank pulley. The belt was off. It had a chunk like dug into it from where, the crank pulley had kind of burned a spot into the belt. It was still working. Belt was, $50+. So I was like, well, I'm gonna put it back on. So I got new blades because the originals were bad. They were in rough shape. Put new blades on it, put the belt back on it, and ran it probably not even an hour before I stopped and set the parking brake, got out to open the front gate, and it wouldn't move itself again. The belt had come off again. So bought a belt, tore it all back apart, put the belt back on, did a better job of, they had bent the little guides that keep the belt on or help keep the belt on. So I did a much better job of bending those all back to where they should be, and haven't had a problem since. So we've just been running it. So let's see if it's gonna fire up, get this trailer disconnected, and